How did Reed Richards cure the Invisible Woman? He took her to the ICU. Welcome to Comic Book Editions Volume 247. It's an all Fantastic Four haul, Part 1, in today's video. It's Marvel's turn in the cinematic spotlight with the release of Fantastic Four First Steps later this week. I'm excited to see it. I have a whole bunch of Fantastic Four comic books to share today and a little bit of movie merchandise as well. I'm glad that you're here for today's Comic Book Editions video. Welcome. I mentioned some movie merchandise tie-in products, and let's get started with those. How about a pizza box? It is from Little Caesars. Here we have Mr. Fantastic represented on the first box. Kind of looks a little bit like Pedro Pascal, don't you think? I kind of think it does too. And I thought it was a brilliant idea. Having a pizza, 8 slices, 4 different styles, so 2 slices of each inside. The 8 slices of pizza that they have are supposed to represent the 4 members of the Fantastic Four. I believe pepperoni represents Mr. Fantastic because it's probably the leader in pizza toppings, and Mr. Fantastic's the leader. Invisible Woman is represented by a cheese pizza because there's no other toppings on top. The Thing would be represented by some Rocky toppings like sausage and bacon. And then Human Torch represented with a little bit of spice, a little bit of heat in the pizza, some pepperoni and jalapeno. Brilliant idea to have that on the menu, I thought. And I thought it was great that they had 4 different types of boxes that you could get as well when you made your order. So when I made my initial order, I've had this pizza a couple times, but my initial order, not only was my Little Caesars kind enough to supply me with some unopened, unused boxes that are not grease stained, I got the Thing box as my very first one. Also very cool, I thought, is when you put all 4 of these boxes together, it creates a connecting image. Brilliant marketing, great job, good pizza, pizza, pizza. And thank you, Little Caesars. So that's a fun way to kick off today's Comic Book Editions video. Before we start getting into the comic books, if you're new to my channel and haven't subscribed yet, I hope you'll take this opportunity to do so. I'm on the path to 1K, and your support and help is appreciated. And we're going to get there sooner than later, that's for sure. Sharing this video or my channel with someone that you think might be interested is another great way to show support to the channel. Give this video a thumbs up, a like, a heart, and I'll be asking for your comments when we reach the end of the video. I made a trip over to Ollie's, where I picked up Marvel Masterworks Fantastic Four Part 2. It was in my Comic Book Editions Volume 233 video that I went to Ollie's and I picked up my first ever Marvel Masterworks. I got Fantastic Four Part 1, and I also got X-Men Part 1. Well, the trip back to Ollie's later on resulted in me being able to pick this up. I did not see an X-Men Part 2 ever at Ollie's, and I checked the store pretty frequently. If they did have it, it went fast before I could find it. They did have a Hulk one, but I ended up passing on that. This contains Fantastic Four issues 11 through 20 plus annual issue 1, all from 1963. So this would be, the classic Stan Lee writing and Jack Kirby art. I kind of thought too, in place of buying the facsimiles that have been out, that this is a more economical approach to it. This hardcover, which is factory sealed, was $75. Ollie's was selling this for $5. You can't beat a deal like that. At least I couldn't. I would hope that they have a chance to offer more volumes of these in the future and I'm able to pick them up, and maybe along with the X-Men titles too, and I'm open to other titles that they might offer in the future. Now we'll go over to the Bronze Age. This is an interesting Fantastic Four issue. It's 190 and was published in 1977. Jack Kirby is doing the cover. Marv Wolfman wrote the story, Jack Buscema doing the interior art. So in Fantastic Four 188, the team decides that they're going to split up. So we're still reeling from the effects of that decision in this issue. Mostly this is a Thing-centered oriented comic book story. Ben is looking through his old diary with Alicia and kind of gives us a little abridged versions of some of their most memorable comic book issues from the beginning all the way up to current. So that's the basis of this story. I like the nostalgia that you see on the cover. Lots of floating heads. If you're into floating heads, this is a good floating heads cover. Next week on my Comic Book Editions Volume 248, I'll have a lot more Fantastic Four comic books from this time frame that I'll be sharing with you. As for now, I want to jump ahead. We're going to go to issue 272. 1984 is the year this was published. John Byrne, creator on pretty much everything. It's John Byrne art, John Byrne writing. I don't think he stapled the book, but if he did, I won't be surprised either. Back in my Comic Book Editions Volume 244, I did an all upgrades video. This comic book was an upgrade for me. I was buying Fantastic Four at this time. Love She-Hulk. As a matter of fact, often I'll ask comic book collectors, especially ones that like Fantastic Four, who is your favorite non-traditional member of the Fantastic Four? And I think almost every time people say She-Hulk. And I agree because she is an awesome member of the FF. This has picked up a little bit of steam with the announcement of the Fantastic Four First Steps movie a few years ago. It quickly became rumored, and we'll see if it happens when the movie comes out this week, that Nathaniel Richards is going to be in the movie, and he makes his first cameo here. That's Reed Richards' father. The Fantastic Four travel to a parallel universe where they think that Nathaniel Richards, Reed's father, might be at, and that's the basis of this story. I hated when I was looking through my comic books, and I'm like, oh, I kind of need to upgrade this one, and then I saw it was this issue, and I'm like, no, this one just started picking up in price. But I ended up getting a pretty fair and good deal on it, so I was able to get it upgraded and taken care of, and back into the collection in nicer shape. Over to half-price books right now for the remainder of books that I'm going to show in this haul today. Fantastic Four issue 304. This is 1987. John Buscema is doing the cover and interior art. Steve Englehart is the writer. My original Fantastic Four run went up to issue 303. So I'm going through half-price books, and I'm looking, I see a lot of Fantastic Fours. I see this issue, and I'm like, well, my FF ends at 303. This is 304. I could pick it up and just, extend it a little bit. I'm like, that's kind of cool. And I'm like, I don't think She-Hulk's in it. I think that she left the team by that time, which she did, I believe, in issue 300. But she's still pictured in the corner box. And I'm like, well, let's just get it. Plus, it has Quicksilver. It has characters that I like. So I thought, okay, I'll check it out. So by this time, Johnny is married to Alicia Masters. We will soon find out later on that it actually was a Skrull version, not the real Alicia. Alicia gets kidnapped by Quicksilver. He is actually being possessed by someone else, but we don't know that at the time either. He's motivated to leave Alicia in harm as a twisted way to try to get revenge on Crystal, which was his wife, and he blames Johnny for not keeping Crystal happy, which led to his marriage being unsuccessful. So a lot of messed up in the head stuff going on here. And Ben also accepts a leadership role at this time with Reed and Sue about to take an absence and really focus their time and attention on Franklin. So that's the gist of what's going on as we start to pick up the story at 304. 305, oh, they're going at it this time. Ron Frenz is doing the cover. Steve Englehart's still the writer. John Buscema on interiors. All these books from 1987 that I'm going to show you to the end. So Ben is trying to decide on what member is going to replace Reed and Sue. And some names are thrown out like Black Panther, Luke Cage, Tigra, Thundra, and Crystal. I think Tigra would have been a great addition. I know she's hung out with the FF before. Crystal shows up to collect Quicksilver and ends up joining the team. This leads to a huge fight between Johnny and Ben because Johnny thinks that Ben asked Crystal back to the team in hopes that it would bust up his marriage to Alicia and Ben would get Alicia back. So that's what caused the fight between the two. After this issue, there's an annual that takes place. It's annual issue number 20. I don't have that one in my collection yet, but at some point I do want to get that. So 306, we have the Inhumans coming to claim Pietro. He is such a dick as he usually is. I mean, who's more of a dick, Quicksilver or Sunspot. I mean, that's the true Marvel question right there. The Inhumans come to collect Pietro. They leave behind Maya. That is Luna's nanny. So, of course, Luna is Quicksilver and Crystal's child. So Luna's now reunited with her mom, and Maya's staying behind since Crystal rather is joining the FF at this point. Also, Captain America is in here. He has brought the new Ms. Marvel, which a lot of people have forgotten about her. She was a wrestler named Sharon Ventura, and she made some appearances in Things solo comic book as well as some Captain America issues. He brings her back to New York City, and Ben sees her, and they have a chance to reunite a little bit too. And her villain for the issue is Diablo. Lots of yellow going on in this cover, which isn't bad. Issue 307, I really like this cover. Same creative team that I've been talking about before, with Ron Frenz on cover, Steve Englehart writer, John Buscema interior artist, but I really like this cover. There's an awkward moment in this story, though, where Ben is like, you know, Johnny, I accept your marriage to Alicia. You know, now that Sharon's back, you know, I can be happy and fall in love with her, you know, even though no one really asked Sharon's permission on that. It's just kind of awkward. So it was back in issue 300 that Johnny and Alicia married. Like I said, later on revealed that it wasn't really the real Alicia Masters. It was a scroll version of her. Great cover. I think Diablo, who was hospitalized at the end of last issue, he's able to heal himself and try to go get some instant revenge of the Fantastic Four while they think that he's hospitalized in this story. And kind of a two-issue storyline all wrapped up together. I've been showing a lot of Fantastic Four comic books from this era in some previous comic book editions videos in the last couple of months, like comic book editions number 237. And then the final one I want to show just for this week is issue 308, the first FOD. It's spelled F-A-S-A-U-D, but I checked and it says it's pronounced FOD, F-A-H-O-D-D. So FOD, he's a living television signal. And he is out for some revenge for what happened to him and kind of for becoming in the state, and the Fantastic Four end up fighting him too. Also, besides that, Comic Book Editions Volume 237, I've shown some more recent FF from this era in Comic Book Editions Volume 239. This was really well written, and I'm so happy that I kind of continued this era of Fantastic Four collecting, because I wasn't planning on doing it, and I know some other places I found FF from this area. I found one as well at C2E2 in Chicago when I was out doing a little comic hunting there, you know, back in April. So I'm very glad that I did end up reading on to this era, because I have found it really enjoyable. So it definitely was a plus to me picking up these issues. Speaking of Fantastic Four comic books, I have a Fantastic Four back issue of the week on my YouTube channel currently. If you haven't had a chance to check that out, I hope you will. On my Instagram, which you can find me at @TheMagicLasso, starting today, I have 4 Fantastic Four covers that I'm sharing there as well. So some of my favorite FF covers that are in my personal collection. There will be Fanboys Live and the Retro Review coming up this upcoming weekend, the greatest DC comic show on YouTube. Join me and Signature King. It's Sunday night, 7:15 p.m. Central, 8:15 p.m. Eastern here on my YouTube channel. Also looking ahead, next Tuesday, July 29th, I'll be a special guest on the 1011 with Gary B, the Casual Comic Guy. So I'm looking forward to collaborating with him and being back with him too. That will also be archived in the in the collaborations folder playlist on my YouTube channel, which all my other appearances somewhere else are archived on there as well. In case you ever missed your Magic Lasso, that's where you can go to try to see where I've been, see where I've left my footprints in the YouTube world on some other channels. What did you think about what I showed today? Have you had the Fantastic Four pizza? Let's dialogue about all of this and more in the comments section, as your comments are welcomed, encouraged, and appreciated. Next week, more Fantastic Four, mostly from the Bronze Age, like some late 1970s stuff and into the early 80s. That's what we're going to be spotlighting on Comic Book Editions Volume 248. Until then, be fantastic, happy, healthy, and safe, and I'll catch you soon. Take care. Bye for now. hotter than a Human Torch in this room.